Mr. Bannon didn't seem too happy with the direction of the trade negotiations with China.
Sherry, I just spoke with Steve Bannon, President Trump's former chief strategist, about what he makes of the trade truce that Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin over the weekend, saying those U.S.-China talks and the trade war being on hold. Steve Bannon didn't like that. He told me, quote, "They're in a trade war with us and it hasn't stopped. Mnuchin has completely misread the geopolitical, military, and historical precedents, and what President Trump had done was finally put the Chinese on their back heels." Now, Steve Bannon also told me that he takes great criticism against the administration for their position in lifting the trade restrictions against Chinese telecommunications firm ZTE. He also has concerns about not enforcing tariffs, or using Section 301 tariffs, rather, against Chinese businesses. All of this comes as the North Korea talks are still scheduled for June 12th in Singapore between President Trump and North Korea leader Kim Jong-un. The sources I speak with inside the intelligence community note the important role that the Chinese will have to play on that. But Steve Bannon isn't buying it. I asked him point blank what his plans are in the short term, and he told me that he's got a series of speeches that he's going to be giving in Europe this week, and then from there he's going to travel to Italy, where he will meet with Matteo Salvini, the far-right leader of a populist-backed conservative movement that Steve Bannon backs. Now, I also asked him when the last time he spoke to President Trump was. He didn't answer.
Yeah, Salvini just conceding to Conte for the prime minister job, interestingly, Kevin. So if Steve Bannon thinks that President Trump had China on the back foot and China was just about to give in, did he detail what exactly China would have done?
Well, I think that for Steve Bannon's sake, he went on to say that President Trump had forced the Chinese to move with a sense of urgency, something that they've never done. But now, politically, from Mr. Bannon's perspective, he has to, from his perspective, President Trump has to deliver building that wall along the U.S.-Mexico border and manufacturing jobs. So Steve Bannon pushed back against the notion of agriculture really playing a significant role. It plays a role, but not as significant as a role as some political observers had pressed. He says this is going to have to come down to increasing U.S.-based manufacturing jobs in states like Michigan and Wisconsin, two states, of course, that President Trump carried in the 2016 cycle. Now, from here, of course, he has been somewhat missing, really, from President Trump's political orbit of recent months. But this would suggest that he's beginning to get back into the fray, or trying to. He also told me that he believes he will play a role in messaging ahead of the 2018 midterm election cycle.